I have been waiting to film this for so long. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Madden and I am a traditional artist here on YouTube. Today we are finally starting sketchbook. What number is this? 17. Yes. Yes, Sketchbook 17. We're finally starting Sketchbook 17, which is this incredible sketchbook made for me by one of my younger siblings. Look at how amazing it is. Aren't they amazing? And I'm gonna be totally honest, I have been working in this because this video got unexpectedly delayed by a lot, as I stated at the beginning. So I have been working in this, and I've actually filled quite a few pages. So if you can see that, I filled these ones. But I did leave the first page blank, so we will actually get to do the title page and whatnot. I figured that was a good compromise. Now, before we get into this, I just want to say I have a lot of potential videos planned, so stay tuned to the end because I'll be giving you a couple of options to help me suss out what I want to prioritize filming next. Alright. Let's get started. Alright, this is my first time filming with the new desk setup, so if the lighting's a little weird or whatnot, I'm still figuring that out. So this sketchbook is a little bit funny because it's vertical, however I have mostly been using it open like this. Except sometimes I flip it around. I think we're going to do it like this because this page is not glued to the cover. If it was, I might do a full spread and that would be super, super cool. But at the same time, I don't know if I could actually get the camera up high enough to do that. Actually, speaking of which, that's better. I think you can see all of it now. So I want to do just this page for the opening page, first page, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to have the little sketchbook 17 right here. But what I want to do, actually that might have been in the old sketchbook. No, it's in this one. Okay, I was having a doodle and I did this. Sneak peek, I guess. But I did this and it gave me the idea that I want. So I want to do a pattern this time of fish. I want to do a pattern, like a grid wallpaper pattern almost, of fish. So, I'm gonna need a ruler. Let's see if we can't make this work. How does this work? I learned how this works, but now I'm having trouble remembering. I think I start by making a vertical grid. I need a different color pencil. Forget the camera, I can't see that. Green will work. Okay. So I think I start by making a vertical grid, and then I use the connecting lines between these to find... I don't know, actually I am shooting in the dark. I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, that's not square. Oh, that's messing with my eyes a little bit. This is really gonna screw with me figuring out what the middle is. Wait, I don't think I need to draw a diagonal grid. No, I can just offset them in the square grid, and that'll be fine. And then I want a middle piece, that's part of the camera. I want a middle piece for the sketchbook number and all that. So, how do I want to do that? I usually just trace something. You know, it's probably perfect. Altoids tin. I think that looks pretty proportional. And let's see. It's pretty evenly a square grid this way, so I'm just going to center it on the grid, and then I could do it a little more towards the bottom, or I could do it a little more towards the top, which is usually what I like. Do it right in the middle. Well, right in the middle-ish. This is still a little more towards the top. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this. It feels a little more old-fashioned, and I'll just use the curved edges of the Altoids tin, and we'll just do it with curved edges. That looks about right. This is a very angled sketchbook. This end is significantly higher than this end just because of how it's bound, so forgive me if it's a little tilty and weird looking on your end. I'm just gonna start randomly. Gonna make a bunch. No. Gonna make a bunch of these sort of eye shapes. By the way, if you're interested in a tutorial on making these sort of repeating patterns, I learned how to do this from Minnie Small's book, the 30-Day Sketchbook Project, and this was one of my favorite projects from that book. As someone who is a little too obsessed with wallpaper, I really loved that idea, and the way she breaks it down is super, super straightforward to follow. Wait, I'm doing this wrong. This isn't what I wanted to do. We're gonna start fixing it here. I have not been sleeping well, so if I seem a little disoriented, that's probably why. I wanted to alternate them like a brick layout. You know, you'll have two meet here, and then you'll have a whole one right above that. But then it'll be two. Well, what is this hand gesture doing? What is going on? Okay, once I have this, I can line them up this way, and then I won't get confused. That is our solution to not messing this up. Do not think up and down, think side to side. And then this one would be here. Oh my god! I just had the best, worst idea. Okay. I'm so excited. I'm too excited. This, in the middle. Open sardine can with sketchbook 17 on the inside. Is that stupid or amazing? It's both. I'm pretty sure that falls into the category of both. And then we have all the little fish in the background, and the fish can be sardines, so they'll probably be a little skinnier than this. But I like this idea. I really like doing draw with me's, actually, because like every single time I go into it with like no idea or half an idea, or I came up with like just the tiniest bit of an idea right before I start filming, right? I'm really unprepared, and then as I'm talking to you guys, I come up with ideas, and it's very spontaneous, which is not how I normally work. I mean, I get ideas spontaneously. That is how my imagination works, but it's not how my workflow works. So let's see. I need to know what a sardine can looks like. I feel like I should know because I do eat sardines, but I can't remember. I also need to know what a sardine looks like because I want these fish to have faces, and the ones we get usually don't. Got a picture of a sardine can, the kind I'm thinking of. I want it with the turn key because I think that's the cutest style, so it would have a little, and I'm not going to do all of this right now. I'm going to work on the background fish first, but I just want to get this in. And then we're going to have a little like that. Now we've got that line there, and that line there, and then it's kind of, I'm just going to round it off. It's a little more square in the picture, but I think it looks nicer like this. Is it perfect? No. Do I care? No. And then I think if this is going to be a sardine can, the letters should be squished in really tight, like sketchbook with all the letters squished together. Ooh, I could do... Wait, no, that's not how that works. The fish go this way, and letters go this way. But if I do the number 15, it'll be a mostly this way thing. I'll need to think about that. Anyway, moving on to drawing sardines themselves. Okay, I have figured out what sardines look like. Now, the other part of this pattern is that I want some of them to be facing one way and some of them to be facing the other way. Yeah, I'm going to start by marking out all of the eyes just so that I can keep track of what's what. because otherwise I will screw up. These don't look anything like sardines right now. Sardines are long. Also, I heard from one of you that last time I made a draw with me, I didn't use any music, and that was mostly because I was stressed out with editing and I wanted editing to be over and done with. And I did not want to think about what music worked. And I heard from one of you that you really, really liked not having music. You really liked just listening to me talk, and just having someone hanging out with you kind of vibe with no music. So I'm gonna do the same thing this time, and if you have thoughts on that, let me know. I obviously can't make everyone happy, but the idea of having a type of video I can do where I don't need to worry about music is very appealing. There are times when I really love picking out the music, and there are other times where I'm like, no. We're gonna have the mouth start over here, and the tail needs to end over here. And they're long and skinny, so I need to make it smaller. I'm gonna lift this up because they have sort of an upturned shape. I think I figured out how to do it so that I like it. You need to put the tails a little farther back so that they kind of overlap with the fish behind them. And then I can kind of nest them and I can make the fish a little bit bigger. I think I like that. I don't know how well you can see it, but I do think I like it. This is gonna take a while, and it is literally just gonna be me drawing the same fish over and over again. So I'm gonna get back to you. Alrighty, we've got a rough sketch of all of my little fishies. So that's good. I've even included little bits of tail poking in over the edges, and I'm pretty pleased with it so far. I really just need to figure out how I'm going to do this, and what I think I'm going to do is do sketchbook, right, written this way, and then do 15 written this way, if that makes sense. So that sketchbook 1 and 5, not 5, 7, sketchbook 1 and 7 can be all in a line like that. I'm also hoping to maybe integrate the start and end date sort of naturalistically into this sardine tin, although I didn't leave myself a whole lot of room to do that. I did roll this back quite far, so we might need to move that, but I really want to keep it here because I love how it's overlapping and like framing this one fish's eye. I think that's really cute. I think I want to do the S sort of half cut off, and then we can do the other letters. Oh, that's gonna be tight. I think I'm gonna stack them. Oh, it would be funny if I could make this shaped like a fish. That would be a little extra, but it would be funny. It might be a little subtle to come across as a fish, but you and I will know that it's meant to be a fish, and I think that's all that matters. We're gonna need to put a 1 and a 7 in here somehow. I think we'll go with a very blunt font and hope that reads at all. I think it's okay if they overlap a little bit, because they're in a sardine can. The 7 is trickier. I'm gonna do that lower, just so I have enough room to do it on the other side too. I think that makes it work, actually. Can I do it? Wait a minute. You know what that makes me think of? A fish hook. Is this the most legible thing in the world? Absolutely not. But I like it. This is fun. I genuinely like this idea. I think we've gotten somewhere. Now, my question for myself is now, do I want to paint first and then line, or line and then paint? I think I'm gonna paint and then line because that's just what I always do. Alright, I was gonna use my main palette, and then I was considering using my Holbein Ghibli palette, but I think I'm gonna use my Isaro palette. I just feel like this color palette is good for the subject matter, and we can make it sparkle if we want to. And why wouldn't we want to? We're gonna kind of need to decide on a color palette. I'm thinking that I definitely want some red in here. There are elements that I've already decided I want red. So we've got two reds. We've got this very dark, moody red, and then we've got quite a bright cadmium red. We've got an ultramarine blue and a Prussian blue that is not super well behaved. We've got an emerald green. Yeah, I'm liking the Prussian blue and the emerald green for this sketch. I'm digging these more muted ocean colors, and then we have a pop of red, like an intense pop of red. Isn't that literally what I just did for my last sketchbook spread I did with you guys, though? I don't care. We've got some green earth. That's by Schminke. Some yellow ochre, that would be a good color. And then we've got two special Isaro colors. We've got steel blue, which I love for painting fish. It's got a very subtle shimmer of blue and gray. It's so good. And then we also have a subdued silver paint. It's not like a flat silver, it's a gray with some silver in it. And I like that one a lot for our little sardines as well. I like this color palette quite a bit. Now, for the background, seems like sardines are pretty silvery. They've got a little bit of blue on the top. They've got a little bit of red in their cheeks, that's just adorable. They're blushing. And then their fins are kind of a yellowy green color. Yellowy greenish brown. I don't want a red background, because then the red is really overwhelming, a little too intense. I don't want blue, because then the tops of the fish will blend in. So I think I'm gonna go with this emerald green as the background color, because it's not too close to that fin green, and it's not too close to that blue. Also, it's pretty saturated, which makes for a very fun background color. And I'm not worried about making like a nice flat wash at all. I think uneven washes can make for very interesting backgrounds when they're plain. If you've got a plain background and you do it really uneven and blotchy, I think it can look really interesting. That being said, I think you should do it on purpose. Don't just never learn how to do a flat wash and then be like, oh, but it adds interest. You should always seek as much knowledge as possible in your field. You can't know everything. You'll explode. I am, however, being very careful not to get any on the can and to keep off the body of the fish. I'm not too worried about the fins because the fins are like a little translucent, so I think that would actually look fine to just paint the fins over the background color, but I do want the silvery color and whatnot to look nice and clean. I need to clip this, otherwise you guys won't be able to see anything. There isn't that much I can do right now because I will need to let it, dry, because this does touch everything, but I can go in and give them little yellow eyes, which will help me keep track of everything. Alright, the camera is almost out of battery, but I have decided what color to paint the background of the inside of the sardine tin. I'm gonna go with this green gold, azo green, whatever, because I think it looks a lot like that sort of olive oil in a brass can color. I don't actually think it's brass on the inside, but some cans are sort of gold colored on the inside, so. And then I'm gonna do it on this as well, because I think that sort of brassy gold color has a very green undertone. I think this will capture it really well. Should have left some of that white, but oh well. So I'm going to use Prussian blue for the little stripe on top, and then afterwards I'm going to go over it with the sparkly blue color that I've got once it's dry, so I can make a couple of sparkly little scales, because I think that will look the best. And I am rushing a little bit because I don't have a whole lot of time. I've basically run out of filming time for the day, and I need to go, like, make dinner and whatnot. But I really want to get at least one more little bit done. Alright, the background is dry, the blue is dry. I think I want to add the silver next. I really like this palette in general. These paints in general are just really, really nice. And some very interesting color mixes. I would like to get some more Isro paints at some point. But seeing as I don't actually need more paint colors in order to, like, do my work, I'm gonna be responsible and hold off for a little bit. So I've been debating whether to use the silver gray on the tin, and I think I am. I think I am gonna do that. I'll add more depth with other colors later, but the one thing this palette, just my color selection, doesn't really do is that I'm never really happy with the grays I mix. They tend to end up very ultramarine heavy. Alright, they've got these little blushy spots on their cheeks, and I don't know how much this is going to bleed, so this could be a big mistake, but I'm just gonna put it in wet. Like this, which may or may not spread because these are at different levels of dry, but I think that'll add some interest. Someone's mowing their lawn. I hope you can't hear that, but maybe you can. Alright, everything is dry, and I've decided that it needs some pink on the little cheeks, just because I looked at the photos and those little dots look pink to me. So I also think it'll contrast really nicely with this very, very yellowy green we've got. They say red is the opposite of green, and that's true, but it's much more the opposite of blue-greens, whereas pink, which is more blue, is more the opposite of yellow-greens, which is why that emo pink and lime green color combo goes so hard. Color for the fins, I think I want to use that green earth, because that's a nice sort of muddy green color, and then I think I'll add, I need a brown. I don't have a brown. I'll use a little English red. Okay, that looks really good. I should be starting, I should be working in this direction. Yep, that's the mucky color. I really should paint more patterns like this, because, like, once I wrapped my head around it, this is really fun. This might become my new favorite first sketchbook page. I really like these little fish. They seem to have a little bit of this color running down like their middle, down here. And I don't want to use this fully muddy version, so I'm going to add a little bit more green, make it a little bit more vibrant. Alright, just a little whoop like that. And I'm not trying to make it super solid or make it the same on every single one, because this is one of those things that lighting would affect a lot. And a big part of making fish look right is making them look kind of sparkly. And a big part of having things look sparkly is making things, making colors on things sort of broken up. And of course leaving white, which I'm not super good at doing, but that's also part of it. And then let's add some blue scales on the top. I think that's good for that. I do think I want to add some of the background color onto some of them in a couple of spots. Just a couple of spots like that. So I just want to add some ultramarine. No, yellow ochre. I'm adding some yellow ochre to this. That might be a little much. Gonna get some water. There we go. I'm gonna add some little spots of the yellow ochre to other parts of the can, but just to give it some interest, some variation. Adding another layer of this. This layer will be kind of patchy, so that it looks like layers of water and oil. Alright, this is a different color, a different shade of blue, but it's pretty similar. This could be ultramarine as the pigment, because this is a mix, but it could also be indanthrene blue. And then I'm going to add some of that blue onto the tin, for the same reason I added some of that yellow. But I'm focusing this on places I think there would be shadows. And some up here. I think it's time to add a couple of little tiny details, like the little eyes, and they've got these little dots down the sides, these little irregular kind of dots, and I think that really makes them look like a sardine. I'm gonna have them looking in different directions. I think that's really cute. And this palette doesn't really have a good way to mix a proper black, so I'm just using straight up ultramarine pretty thick to get my darkest colors. I think I'm going to use black for the line art, but I haven't quite decided yet. This is kind of making me think of all the little voices that Zefrank does for like fish and other animals. I feel like these look like they have little Zefrank character voices. I'm looking at this, and this can is not standing out very much from the background, so I'm not sure. Maybe I want to darken the background color behind it because they are kind of the same level of darkness, or maybe it'll not bother me so much once it's outlined and I've got the letters filled in. I think I'm going to fill in the letters and see how I feel about it. Alright, I'm just going to hope that this paintbrush is small enough. Yeah, I think I can make this work. Maybe I should zoom you in. That might be a more enjoyable experience for this. Yeah, I should be using a smaller paintbrush for this. I'm hoping that you can kind of see what I'm going for, but the letters are supposed to make the word look like a fish. You know, he's got the little belly, goes up, he's got the eye, little pointy face. I think part of the problem is actually that I forgot this part of the T. I wanted the T to become the fin. There we go. Don't know if I want to do the 1 and the 7 red or silver. I mean, I should probably do the 7 silver because it's supposed to be a fish hook. So I'll just do that, but I don't know if I want the 1 to match the 7 or not is my real problem. I'm trying to think of like maybe I can make it look like a fishing lure, but I don't think that would work. Yes, I definitely wanted some water just flicked onto the page. Super helpful. I think I'm gonna make the 1 red. I think I want more red. I think it'll make it look both like the number 1 and also like an underline. I think it'll draw more attention to the center. I just think that this will achieve my goals a little better. Alright, and I think I am going to add some lift to the can. I'm going to add a little more background color right underneath of it. I don't really feel the need to add like proper shadows under it, just a little bit more saturation. Okay, yeah, I think that helped a lot, actually. I'm gonna add some more shadows on the can, and then I think after that I'm done with painting. Oh wait, no, I want to add shadows on the can and also some on the hook. Alright, I'm gonna add a little bit more of this bright green onto these little oil droplets I added, just to make it match the inside, and whatever, I'll add some on the inside too. Won't hurt anything. And then I think I just want to boost the opacity of this, especially over here. I think the red's just a little bit dull. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna use my Sharpie for this. Oh, this is gonna be awkward. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna do it like this. Can you even see this? I don't know. It's always so awkward to work off the edge of the page. There we go. I really like this, actually. Working with Sharpies is so stressful, but I love how it looks. I messed up there. The page, like, dented in. Last fish. Is this dry? Well, that wasn't. I stuck my hand in it. Almost done, almost done. This is probably simultaneously the most effort I've ever put into one of these pages, and at the same time, it's going so much more quickly. than any of the other ones I've done. Wow, I did a terrible job drawing that. That genuinely looks really bad. Okay. Oh my god, I love these fish. Oh my god, they're so cute. I'm gonna add the date I started at another time because I can't remember and I'll need to check. I should have checked before this. But I want to add a spot for the finish date. So I'm actually gonna fix this edge, and then I'm hoping that the silver marker will be able to draw over this because I'll need this area available. Now this is definitely not going to draw over wet Sharpie very well, so I'll probably go over that. Now that I've added it, I'm going to add a little bit more just to make it make sense. Yeah, I think I'm going to add a couple of little spots to these guys, just because it has a nice little tip that's going to stay round. I think it'll add a lot to these little guys. That's that for silver. I just want these little fishy cheeks more intense. I just need it. Alright, you might not like that, but I like it. I like how it adds to the, like, repeating pattern feeling of it. I finished my last sketchbook in June. And I didn't start this one for a while after that, but I still started it a while ago. So I think July, definitely in July, but probably early July. I think I was working in this around my birthday. So maybe July 5th, 07, 05, 25. I should have made those actual, like, little zeros, but I wasn't thinking very clearly. And then, here's my brilliant idea for the bottom one. Best by, and then I can add the date when I finish it. And then it's like little packaging. So that was my genius idea. And with that, I think I'm done. I am very happy with this amount of work. I say that I'm done, and then I add more. But this really wasn't looking very brass-like, and I think that looks better. Thank you so much for watching while I start my new sketchbook a little bit late. I'm so pleased with how this turned out. I think it's adorable, absolutely adorable. Now, like I said earlier, I have a couple of different ideas for future videos, and I'm mostly deciding between two. Now, the next video I film will definitely be how I prepared for my first gallery show. But after that, I have two new art supplies that I would like to try with you all. So I've got the Candy Ash Neo colors here. I think this is the most basic set you can get, and I've been wanting to try these for a very long time. I have been playing with them a little bit. I have not been able to resist the temptation, and I have been enjoying it, so I think that would be a very fun thing to try with you guys. And then for my birthday, I was given these, which are a set of historic pigment-inspired colors by Winsor & Newton. So these are based on colors that are no longer used or produced in any sort of meaningful quantities for whatever reason. Either it was poisonous or it was very expensive or what have you. So we've got one that's based on Tyrian purple and Viridian hue and Fields orange and Cinnabar green, and I just am so tickled by historic pigments that these really caught my eye. I've never really tried Winsor & Newton paints. They've never appealed to me. I heard like one iffy review, and I was like, maybe I don't want to spend my limited resources on that. But they got me with this color set. They really got me with this concept. So whichever one you want to see next, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, like, subscribe, saucy comment in the comment section below, notification bell, all of these help out the channel a ton, and I hope I'll see you next time, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!